Happy Kaiju Live, where we're smashing through 31 days of non-stop Kaiju content. We're continuing our deep dive into Godzilla King of the Monsters, the classic Marvel comic series, written by Doug Moench, art by Hoover Trimpe. On the right, we have the black and white essential volume. On the left, we have the omnibus art. And in the middle, we got the original issue. So let's dig into this thing. And this series always wows you when you open up the cover because you see this full page spread of awesome art. This issue, it's Godzilla just smashing through the Hoover Dam, or as they're calling it at this time, Boulder. So, and also we're going to look at the Las Vegas Strip later, and I tell you what, that sure has changed quite a degree. What a couple decades can do, I tell you what. But let's get it going. So after this really cool opening page, we flip around here and we see Godzilla just busting right through and getting a ride in the waters of Colorado. I tell you, this is so much fun. I just love the carnage. And this panel here, him just wildly riding the wave, and this right here with him being swept up by it because the torrent of water is just too much even for him to be able to pull through. Just the idea it brings forth of why is Godzilla doing it? Is it because of destruction, or is it because he's an amphibious creature and he's been wandering through the desert for 2 days and finally found a source of water and he's trying to get to it? We will never know, but it's left up to speculation. And there's just something fun about seeing the big old dinosaur lizard all flung about by the water, and just kind of imagine him being lost in the waves and just rolling and playing and going with the flow, you know? And he ends up getting his sights set on Las Vegas as he's spilled out from the water. And this whole story is framed by this one fella here who's got a bit of a gambling addiction. And we have the back and forth between Godzilla making the decision of should he go one way or should he go the other, and what should he and should he not destroy, versus should this guy use his money for gambling or should he try taking his loss and going home. We cut back to the S.H.I.E.L.D. folks, and Rob's made his way out of the robot, but it took him 2 days to do it. But they coaxed him out, and he gets a stern talking to from Dum Dum Dugan. All the while, his grandfather is kind of speaking up for the lad and saying, you know, maybe he knows what he's doing. Maybe he can get a handle on the robot. And this bit right here, this panel, I love this so much, where we get Godzilla standing there and we get the guy just sort of looking at the slot machine, and it jumps back and forth between him focusing on the slots and Godzilla focusing on the bright buildings and just the close-up reflection in his eye. But yeah, it's very fun looking at the depiction of Las Vegas in this book, knowing what it looked like when I visited the city, which is now more than a decade ago, so I'm even out of date. But the city's gone through a whole lot, and it looks, well, you know, this isn't even the main area that we think of as Las Vegas anymore. But we see the dam give out even more because he only got the top of it, but the whole thing busts through, and that bodes ill. And this is where I got to side with Dum Dum Dugan over little Robert here, because Robert's saying, hey, you know, let's just let Godzilla go, which is what he did. And if he tried apprehending Godzilla or stopping him, we never would have got any of this Las Vegas destruction or the destruction of the Hoover Dam and all the deaths that happened from the flooding. Because, like, that's some serious destruction right there. Like, oh boy. But you can't pay too much to collateral damage when you're into giant monster stuff, Godzilla movie, Kaiju comics, whatever, because that just comes with the territory. Mass destruction, baby. And speaking of mass destruction, how about this? With the rivers just like flowing out of control and those waters just pouring out and just completely flooding and destroying Las Vegas here. And look at Godzilla getting just tossed away. That is so much fun. Hey, there we go. That's so cool. We got the bright colors of the omnibus on the left there. Or on the right, we got that fantastic black and white from the Essentials and the original right there in the middle. A little bit faded, but so fun to flip through. Man, what a cool spread. I love how these cops look too with the bright red helmets. Like, very comic booky, and I like it. That's why I'm reading, you know. What a page. Over here, our little gambling friend actually hits jackpot as Godzilla ends up having himself a bad old time with the torrent of water just pounding down on him, washing away. And unfortunately, poor old Winslow here, as it says in the narration box, never touched a dime of that winnings he just got. Poor fella. And this bit up here cracks me up. Godzilla is so mad at the water at this point that he just unleashes some atomic breath at it. Just like furious. Godzilla rises on the outskirts of the city, unable to understand the vengeance of water, but swiftly retaliating with fire. And this bit right here. But then he turns away and moves onward across the desert sands. He is tired of Las Vegas, tired of decisions. Me too, Godzilla. That's why I'm just chilling out reading some comics. But we get a little epilogue here with our gambler friend Winslow, and the fella does not learn his lessons. All the while we catch up with our shield fellas, who, even though they're in the new decked out helicarrier, it's equipped for kaiju combat. It has a damaged engine. It's running on fumes. It cannot keep up with Godzilla, so he's going to continue to be one step ahead. But what I'm really loving is this stinger for next issue. A colossal new monster, perhaps even mightier than Godzilla himself. I am pumped for this promise of a kaiju clash with this new creature, Yetrigar. So tune in to the next episode of Kaiju Live, and we'll be taking a look at that fantastic creature.